Janice, you founded JT Fitness and Golf.
Yes.
Give us a little bit about what inspired you to do that. How long have you had it? And are you a golfer yourself? Did you get into this because you're a golfer and you wanted to stay fit for the game?
So I'm going to start answer that question first. So yes, I am a golfer. I love to play. I'm a single digit handicap and in my late 50s. And I really want to help others be able to age backwards. And I figured I want to be able to stay fit as I age. So why not help others get fit and stay fit as we all get older?
Yeah.
So I have 25 years of working in what I consider sick care. So I have a master's degree in exercise physiology and I emphasized in cardiac rehab. So I spent over 10 years working with people who had bypass surgeries, heart attacks, strokes, things like that, trying to help them get healthy. At the same time, they're on a ton of pharmaceutical medications, and I think I cared more about their health than they did, which made me sad.
Yes.
And then I ended up in the pharmaceutical industry for 14 years. And with that, I sat in doctor's offices every single day around sick people every single day. So,
Yeah.
literally, for 25 years, that's why I consider our healthcare system really actually sick care,
Oh my God.
because that's what it is. So that made me, when I got out, I was like, okay, I need to do something that I can really contribute back to people that is really healthcare. And that's why I started an online personal training business. And of course, when I first started the business, I wanted to help everybody. And that's great. At the same time, I really have a passion for golf. I've been playing for over 22 years, and I was a tennis player for 25.
Oh wow.
Had to quit due to knee pain, and so ended up playing golf because my husband plays golf, and now we just it's a nice sport that he and I can play together. So that's
Well, you
always
have
fun.
a great hand-eye coordination probably too. I mean, you already came with good habits for the game of golf.
So I will say this though, tennis is much easier to play than golf because in tennis you don't have time to think.
Exactly.
The ball's coming at you 90 miles an hour or however fast. And when I quit, I was like, gosh, how hard can golf be? The ball just sits there and does absolutely nothing.
That's the
Yet
tricky part. You haven't
that's the
done
tricky
it.
part. But here in tennis, this ball's coming slammed at me. It's like, yeah, no big deal. And then, yeah, golf, it's like, oh, wow, you can stand over a ball for how long and not pull the trigger. So,
Right.
yeah, we want to be able to do that.
You don't have time to be mental in tennis. I mean, you have to be
No,
reactive and you have to be there and
yeah,
respond. So, yes,
yeah,
it's more of a mind game than tennis is.
absolutely, for sure.
Yes. So then answer the other two questions. I think what inspired you, well,
Mm.
because you wanted to get into the game of golf, and how are you connecting with your clients instead of sitting in a doctor's clinic and instead of you know helping people get fixed up by other problems, get into the game of golf? How are you initiating this contact with clients?
So I like to do a lot of networking, in-person networking, because I feel like that helps a lot. And of course, I do have social media. I do some Instagram posts. I also feel like because I'm in my later 50s, more people are on LinkedIn for me. So
Yes.
I'm excited about this Instagram thing, though, to be here with your people and be
Excellent.
able to
Excellent.
connect with them.
Well, we have a variety. Our profile is really various type of golfers, but we're all golfers, and
Hmm.
some are newbies, some have been in the game, some have reached a certain age that when you get up in the morning, everything cracks, and you're wondering how am I going to be able to swing a golf ball. Um, so I think that for us in any level, it's important to know what we should do to take care of our body because in addition to avoiding injuries,
Hmm.
it helps you as you age to continue enjoying the game.
Hmm. Absolutely. And so, yes, I have those same aches, pains, pops, like, wow, I now have to go swing a golf club. This should be interesting type of
Yes.
moments. At the same time, so when it comes to your fitness level, making sure that you really work on mobility and strength. So, mobility, we need our joints, we need our shoulders, we need our thoracic spine, we need our hips, our knees, our ankles, all to be mobile. And as we get older, unfortunately, a lot of that decreases. Even if you're younger, though, if you are someone who sits at a desk a lot, or you are behind, driving your car around all day long, and because we a lot of times sit at night, on the couch, whatever, we're looking at our mobile devices, we
Yeah.
have our heads down all the time. That puts a lot of strain on our neck. So it really doesn't matter what age you are. We want to always be able to maintain that mobility. So if it's the one thing I would work on the most is working on mobility, but then especially we ladies, as we get older, we have to do strength training because we lose. I know a lot of people love cardio, they love to walk, they love to hike, which are all great things. At the same time, because we lose so much muscle mass as we get older, strength training is key because it's going to really help keep your metabolism up, when you can do proper strength training.
Hmm. So, what tips do you have, let's say, for somebody middle age that has already been playing anywhere between 5 and 10 years the game of golf, and be able to continue the game?
So here's the great news for everybody is we are
We all get
never,
younger.
yeah, well, we're not going to get younger. At the same time, though, the great news is you're never too old to increase mobility. You're never too old to increase your strength. So knowing that I had patients when I worked in cardiac rehab in their late 70s and 80s who came in and they could barely, get up from the chair. And by the time I was finished with them, they're doing 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, doing the rowing machine, walking on the treadmill, riding the bike, they're lifting weights. And they're telling me, my gosh, like their every activities of daily living have improved significantly. So just know it doesn't matter what your age is, you can still improve. Sure, we have a starting point to start with. That's great. That's all we need is a starting point, and then you get to improve from there. So whether it's doing consistent mobility work and the strength training, that's definitely what I highly recommend for people to be able to do.
So, you're probably saying changing habits.
You're
Something that
changing
you were
habits for
not
sure.
doing before, this is something you need to start taking consideration and putting time aside.
Absolutely.
That's probably the biggest problem right there.
It is, and I will say when it comes to fitting in exercise, first you have to make it a priority because
Yeah.
you always have time for what you want to have time for. Always. Doesn't matter. But when you make fitness a priority, you will find the time for it. And then the other thing is to schedule it like you would a doctor's appointment. So make sure that you are out there, you've got your calendar out there and you're like, okay, if 8 o'clock is what works for you, then work out at 8 o'clock. Or if it's 5:30 in the morning, does that mean you have to change your habits a little bit of when you get up and change your morning routine? Do it if that's when you're able to get the workouts in. The best time, people say, Janice, when's the best time to work out? The best time of day to work out is when you're actually going to do it. Doesn't matter
Okay.
if it's, in the morning, at lunch, after work, whatever's going to work, that's when you want to get your workouts in.
Now, how often do you recommend this workout? And is there a difference when the day you play golf versus the day you do not play golf?
So, yeah, well, honestly, you should be doing some kind of movement every day. And notice I say movement. It might be a mobility workout for 20 minutes, or maybe that's what you do before you work out or before you go play golf, is you spend 15, 20 minutes doing some stretches and mobility work to get your body woke up. Because the last thing you want to do is just be a trunk slammer and go to the first tee.
Right.
You got,
That's actually very dangerous.
it is very dangerous. And just because that's when you can throw out your back, that's when you
Hmm.
can tweak something, and then it's miserable when you do that.
Yeah.
Get yourself to the course where you can hit some balls. Plus, people will say, "My gosh, I played horrible today. The first 6 holes were, or it was bogey or double bogey." Well, most of the time it's because a lot of people don't warm up. And when you can get all those bad shots out on the driving range, do so. Get yourself
Yeah,
hitting some golf balls.
get the stiffness out of the way too.
Yeah, and especially if you had a 15, 20-minute drive over to the course, you're getting stiff and sore just sitting there. So, get out, do some stretches, do some, you can do, it's easy. Do some leg swings. You can do some shoulder rolls, do arm circles. Grab a golf club, put it across your chest, and just go side to side gently to get your back warmed up a little bit. I actually love like the orange whip swing training device to warm up with also. First,
Okay,
I love it because it pops my back a little bit, and that's always a good thing. And
sure.
then it just helps me get into some swings, gentle get into some swings. And there's other devices that are similar to that you can use as well. But I
Mhm.
carry one in my bag because I just love the way it just helps me get warmed up. And if you are running short on time, make sure that you do use that on the tee box because at least it'll get you through some swings before you just try to
Sure,
swing
sure.
hard with your driver. Because oh gosh, that's just not nice to your body
Right.
to do that.
There was a time I remembered playing golf with Dad that he would have a little additional weight. It was like a little circle that he put it on
Hmm.
his club, and he would swing with that as he was warming up. I think he did that pre-practicing. Do gadgets like that help?
So yeah, I was going to say that actually is something similar to the swing trainer.
Hmm.
Or the orange whip is because that way you just have a weight, so you feel like you have something weighted. Now I will say on the orange whip, the the weight is actually in the hands, and that weight would actually be at by your club head, which is just going to give a difference. I mean, to me, it's going to be good to just get yourself going through the motion with weights. Or like my husband sometimes will grab two or three clubs,
Right.
swing those just to give you that weighted feeling with the swing. And it's just to wake you up, wake up your body, wake up your back, wake up your glutes. Another thing you can do are just some side to side lunges, or like I said, those leg swings. Do some squats, jumping jacks, something just to get your body woken up, get the muscles woken up. So that way, when you go take your first swings, you're going to do decent and not
Yes.
totally stun your body.
Well, as golfers, we've been taught to kind of have a routine, be prepared for a golf shot, and have a routine that would allow you to aim, focus, and swing and hit the golf ball. Should we have an exercise routine? Should we have a little stretching routine for the mornings before we tee off? Is it something that we should kind of instill and have as a very good habit um, as we tee off or before we tee off?
Yeah, I actually like to stretch before I leave the house, is what I'll
Hmm.
do. And I will, do some, sitting back on my hands, windshield wipers to open up my hips. I drop my knees side to side. I will do exercises that open up my thoracic spine because I need a lot of people, when you get low back pain, it's because our thoracic spine doesn't have the flexibility in it, so then we force our low back to be the rotator of our spine, which the lumbar spine isn't the rotator. The lumbar spine is what has us go forward and back. Our thoracic spine is supposed to rotate us. So if you have a stiff upper back, it goes down into your low back. So you want to do exercises that will improve your thoracic spine. You want to get your shoulders woken up. Yeah, I stretch out my hips to, do what I call the frog stretch, where my knees are out wide and I just gently I don't sit back onto my heels because that's too much for my knees. I just rock back and forth to open up my hips.
Okay.
There's a lot of different exercises that you can do to, like I said earlier, you can do arm circles and shoulder rotations and things like that just to get your body woken up. Believe it or not, we need our neck to be awake. So if people have stiff necks,
Yep.
you have to be able to go side to side and up and down and things like that. Because in your golf swing, in the takeaway, if we don't have a flexible, mobile neck, guess what? It's hard to take away the club even. If you have stiff back, our lats, which are our largest back muscles, if those are stiff, we have a hard time with the takeaway and the follow through. So there's just, yeah, if you can get yourself to do even if it's 10 minutes of a stretching routine before you go play golf, I promise you, you will feel so much better. And it's probably the same routine you could even do at night before going to bed because it'll actually help you sleep better at night when you can do some stretches before bed as well.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Do you follow any of the golf pros, male or female?
Um, I don't have any that I particularly watch all the time. Now, like I will watch them. I like to watch them for their swing.
Yeah,
So when I'm watching golf, I will. I love when they slow things down, so I can actually see how they do, how their swing is, how their swing progresses, and things like that. I will say when I was, so I've been playing golf for over 22 years. And when I first started, though, I had a really big loopy swing. My elbow would bend a lot, and I just did not have a very good swing at all. So I did follow Michelle Wie for a while, and I would watch videos from YouTube of her in slow motion because she would just crush the ball so far. And I
yeah,
remember seeing one of her videos, and it looked like she barely took a swing. Literally, her lead arm, when she took it back, was parallel to the ground, and that was it. And then she fires it off 300 yards. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, how is she doing that? So I will say to, if I'm not having a good swing, I'm like, okay, let's get my inner Michelle Wie on here
Yeah.
because I'm obviously over swinging because I can go back into that swing. So I have to be careful. But I've worked hard on like really shortening my swing, not bending my arm as much, those kinds of things.
Because some pros really have a very aggressive or very strong training habits. I mean, these guys
Hmm.
really that it's a newer generation. I think a lot of this training and putting time
Yeah.
in the gym before golf comes from Tiger Woods very much. Before that,
Yep.
we were not informed about how they prepared or even if they prepared. So I think. As what you're saying, you kind of felt connected with Michelle Wie, and that was a swing that you were
Mhm.
able to identify with. Um, would you recommend people to kind of pick a golfer that they feel connected with swing wise, that they
Mhm.
admire, and then kind of look in YouTube to see how do they train and what is it that they do?
Mhm.
Because that's pretty much how they help themselves really keep up with the demand and the competition that's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it's good, look at their training programs at the same time. Like, I'm going to say personally for myself or clients that I have, I don't have them train like a Tiger Woods or lifting as much weight as Rory does or Brooks Koepka. I know they lift some pretty heavy weights. I think if you're younger and that age and you want to build some bulk, sure. At the same time, I know getting too bulky will actually affect your golf swing.
Right, it jeopardizes
So,
it. Yeah,
yeah, it will jeopardize it. So you do have to have that balance. For example, one of the guys at my gym that I go work out at, he was just telling me, he's like, Janice, I need to start working out with you because I'm getting too big and bulky. Because he literally trains with his buddy who's they do more bodybuilding building
yeah,
style
yeah.
lifting, and I'm like, well, you're not training for golf. Your training is fine. It's just not very good for golf because
Mhm.
he's like, I can't swing well. Well,
Right.
there are different ways to train so that way you can eliminate all that big and bulky. And ladies, just FYI, you're not going to become big and bulky by doing strength training at all, unless
Mhm.
you start taking some serious testosterone and that kind of thing. I
And,
mean, it's
and
just,
and in the
it is
long run, it's not going to help your game either.
it's not going to help your game, and it's just you're not going to get big and just women. We don't get big and bulky, so
Right.
you don't have to worry about that. But and most women are too afraid to actually lift heavy enough that would cause them to get big and bulky.
Yeah.
So I believe in that people can work out, have 30-minute workouts or less. You don't have to spend hours in the gym when you exercise. You can easily get great workouts done in 30 minutes or less.
Hmm. Excellent. This I don't know if you watched the U.S. Open this weekend.
Yes. Oh
One
my
of
gosh.
one of my favorite players really is Adam Scott, and
Hmm.
if he would have won, he would have been the second oldest player
Hmm.
to have won. One of the things I looked at his swing, and which is a little bit what you're mentioning, is his shoulder turn. I mean, he turns
Hmm.
like if he was still in his 30s.
Yeah.
And I was really admiring that because I think that that's one of the first things that really goes with older golfers. Your turn starts getting shorter. You have difficulties
Hmm.
getting that swing and getting that shoulder under your chin. Um, what's a good habit to practice just to make sure that your shoulder keeps flexible?
So that's where practicing mobility is the key.
Hmm.
I mean, it's that simple as doing stretches that are going to help your thoracic spine and to be able to do mobility exercises on a regular basis. And that truly is the key. I can tell when I haven't stretched if I am playing and my husband will be like, "You're just picking your club up. You're picking your club up today." I'm like, that means my back is just not rotating the way that I need it to rotate.
Hmm.
And it's just, and I'm like, okay, got to look at what did I do this past week for any kind of stretching, mobility, that kind of thing to really, what's my back doing? And
Hmm.
listen to your body. So I can tell if my back's not rotating the way it should be too. But yes, I love Adam Scott's swing. He's amazing. I was
Yeah.
kind of hoping he would win. I
Yes.
wanted him to win because I was,
He was a sentimental favorite for me, that's for sure.
yeah. But he actually, as a kid, I don't know if you know this, he emulated Tiger Woods' swing, and that's Tiger Woods, one of his original swings, and Adam just kept it because I was thinking, why don't fix it? It's not broken.
No, it definitely is not broken. It's a beautiful swing. He has a
Yeah.
very good rhythm. So I think it was very suitable for him, and obviously it still helped him because at 44 he's still
Hmm.
able to do a swing that he's been doing for years, and he looked very well prepared, very his stamina was there throughout the whole
Hmm.
4 days. So, and it was a very tough course to play, so mentally they
Oh
must have
my
all been
God. Yeah.
exhausted.
Oh my gosh, just looking at the course, I told my husband, I said, 5.5 inches of rough. Are you
Yes.
kidding me? That
Yes.
is,
No, that's where the strength comes in.
yeah. I, I had the pleasure, I'll say quote unquote pleasure, of playing Torrey Pines like 2 weeks before a major event was coming there. And that rough that they had, and I swear I got in the rough all day long that day.
Yeah,
And I was mentally so
drained.
exhausted
Yes.
by the time I was done because I kept having to take some kind of pitching wedge to like barely get it out
Get
of the
out.
rough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so dumb. I would get so mad. So, did you see the article? And they were trying to say, they were talking about if you were like a 18 handicap or 15 handicap, what would you shoot at Oakmont
Surprised
with
me.
those? Oh, it would be like 120 to
Sure.
140.
Yeah, it was brutal. The fairways were very narrow too, and the greens were just
Oh, the
unbelievable.
greens were crazy. I just
Yes.
watching the ball just roll off. That yeah,
Yeah.
we could talk about that for hours
Yeah.
probably.
Yes. So, how can the audience that have been watching this and follow us, how can they reach you?
So the best thing to do is go to my website at jtfitnessandgolf.com. I do offer a free golf fitness assessment for golfers who want to have a look at what's going on with them. I can give them some great feedback, and yeah, they can just go to my website and then schedule themselves for a fitness assessment.
Excellent. And you're also in LinkedIn for those that
Hmm.
have the habit of getting into LinkedIn regularly. So that's also another plus right there.
Yep.
Great. So Janice, thank you so much. This has been really a pleasure. I think it's been great tips, especially for people who are starting the game of golf, like more ladies are these days than guys.
Hmm.
And it's good that they understand um, to enjoy the game in a longer sense, what they need to be doing to make sure that they enjoy not only teeing off, but they enjoy playing with their friends for years to come.
Absolutely. Sorry, got it.
That's okay. Not a problem. So I invite everybody to reach out to you. I'm sure that it will be a wonderful experience, and I really appreciate your time and being part of this whole campaign that we're doing and informing more people about golf and utilizing different skills to keep up with the game.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me on,
Thank
Sandra.
you. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, being part of our Instagram Live. And I look forward to the next one. Thank you and have a good
Perfect.
evening
Thank
to
you.
everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye.